Hey everyone! Last week I showed you guys how to do a Laduree inspired blush pot. I mean, really you can put whatever you want in it, so it's not strictly a blush pot. But I made it because I wanted to try doing the DIY version of the rose petal blush and the pot that it comes in. So in today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to do the rose petal blush. As I mentioned in last week's video, I did quite a bit of trial and error to kind of figure out the best method to use for this. And I think I finally figured out the best way to achieve the look of the original blush petals. So that's what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do today. I'll have to warn you though, it wastes a lot of makeup. It does look great though, so there's that at least. So let's get started. You'll need fabric rose petals. I'll leave an affiliate link to the ones that I got. Be warned though, they come in a pack of like 1,000 and you only need a handful of them depending on how big your container is. I think all in all I used probably about 20. Blush and highlighter or a lighter blush or eyeshadow or something. You only really need the main blush color, but I was trying to make mine look as similar to the original product as I could, and those have a little bit of an accent color at the base, similar to a real rose petal. Scented oil, isopropyl or rubbing alcohol, a small dish for mixing, a popsicle stick or something similar to crush and mix the makeup, a clean makeup brush, and paper towels. Wash the petals with soap and water. These things are going to be indirectly rubbing on your face, so you want to make sure that they're clean. Let them dry. Take some of your blush and throw it into your dish. The blush I have is already super broken because I got it from TJ Maxx, which, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's an off-price retail store, so they just have marked down clothes and makeup and stuff, and normally the makeup you get is pretty messed up. So I was just able to grab a chunk. But if your makeup is still intact, you can use your popsicle stick or toothpick or end of your makeup brush to scrape some of your blush out. Carefully pour some alcohol into the dish and then crush and mix it with the blush. You want it to be sort of liquidy, but not too liquidy. The thicker it is, the thicker it will be on the petal, obviously, but if it's too thick, it can flake off more easily. And then, of course, if it's too thin, then not enough product will be on the petal in the first place. Add a drop of the scented oil and mix it in. The original ones have a rose scent, but I just used a random scented oil that I got from a sample pack just to see if it would work or not. Fold over a piece of paper towel a few times so it's a few layers thick. Lay a petal down and use your brush to start painting some of the liquidy blush on. If you're going to add the accent color later, don't worry about painting this part of the petal. If you're just doing this single blush color, then go ahead and paint the whole thing. Flip the petal over and paint this side. And press to compress the powder and remove excess alcohol. Brush over the petal a few more times on each side, from the base and out, to even out any patchiness that resulted from pressing it with the paper towel. Repeat this for all of your petals. Whenever the paper towel gets too saturated with alcohol, just switch it out with a fresh one. I recommend not smelling them right now because all you'll smell is the extremely strong smelling alcohol. But don't worry, that will go away and all that will be left is whatever scented oil that you used. I found that one drop was perfect for these few petals that I did with the scent. You might want to experiment a little bit to figure out just how much you'd like in yours. Let the petals dry. Crush and mix a small amount of the secondary color with the alcohol. Paint a bit onto the base of the petal, basically doing the same process as before, but being a bit more careful, try to only press the small area that's still wet. If you press on the whole petal, the dried on blush can flake off. After that, you're basically done. Just put them in a fancy little dish and there you go. I made this decorative glass dish and showed you guys how to make it last week. Click here to see how I made it. I'm pretty happy with how these turned out. The color payoff is pretty darn good, and the ones that I made with scented oil are really quite fragrant. So I'm going to try it out to see how well this particular blush kind of goes on after it's been applied to the petals and everything. Of course, I think the quality of the blush is going to depend on the quality of the blush you use in the first place. You're basically just like slapping it onto rose petals. So here's one of the petals. Looks pretty cute. According to the real stuff, you're supposed to dip your brush in and kind of swirl it around to pick up the product and then slap it on your face. A little disclaimer, I'm not a beauty guru. I don't really use blush that much, so bear with me. Right off the bat, one difference I can tell you is that this container is pretty short, so when you swirl it around like it says you're supposed to, the petals kind of like, they do this, see? They're like trying to come out, which isn't that big of a deal if you're paying attention. You can just poke them back in, but anyway, let's put it on. I have a little mirror down here so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Ooh! Oh my gosh. Wow, I put way too much on. I did not think it was going to pick up this much product. Well, I guess I gotta make the other side match. That's better, I think. So you can see just how much got put on my face. I feel like it's a lot because I don't wear blush. Maybe it's not that much, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know what I'm doing. So I mentioned before, on some of the thick petals, the makeup just kind of flakes off, and I'll show you an example. This is probably the worst petal that I see in here, but honestly, once it's in the pot, when that stuff flakes off, it settles like in there, so it's not like the product is like blowing away or something. It's gonna be in the pot. So there you go. You can see my face. There's blush on it. It worked pretty well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video and last week's video, and if you did, please leave a like. If you want to see more, then feel free to subscribe. I post art videos every Tuesday and DIY videos every Thursday. You can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Pinterest, and I'll leave the information to those down below. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next week.